right, so we're going to start with the standings. The Knicks are still in 4th place. And more important than that is that we are 2 games ahead of the 7th place. Because remember, the goal was not just to make the playoffs, but also to have the 6th seed and avoid the play-in game. So after that 6-game homestand, we went 5-1. I mean, we couldn't even ask for a better outcome than that. The last time they said the Knicks even did anything like that was more than 20 years ago.
In the words of Nori, take a sip for that. Take a sip for that.
So, I mean, this is what this is kind of really what we all been dreaming about. But Joe, it's funny. I was listening to somebody about, and I say the same thing. They are where nobody thought they would be. But really, when you think about us, and not only probably some others too. We're not just trying to say it, just us. But we've been saying this since the first game of the season. Remember, we started standing watching from day one.
Yeah. And
when we early fought into that, being as far as like contending with the middle of the pack, and then I kept saying, well, my theory was, stay 1 up, 1 down, or tie until you get it going. And that's really basically what we have been doing. We always stayed around. We might have got 2 under, but we always stayed around that 1 up, 1 down, or tied, until you can get it together. And that's kind of how it happened. So in a way, a lot of us really did see that because we were saying, why not us? From the get-go, based on the talent of the other teams.
Yeah, there was nobody clearly better than us. There was
yeah. There was
nobody that's not beatable.
It wasn't. So we're almost kind of like where we said we would be. You know what I'm saying? Like I was really hoping for 6 all that time, and then I remember you were saying I want 5, and then I was like, well, let's don't get too greedy. You know what I'm saying? We can avoid the play-in game, but now look at that. Like even now we 4, and we would all probably have to win out almost to stay at 4 because a lot of the bunched up teams, to try to avoid 7th are so close. 2 games is not a lot. So I mean, if you had to do the play-in game, okay, you could live with that. But right now we control our own destiny because if we win the fair share of our games, we're going to end up 4th or 5th. But the goal, to me, still is 6. But then just imagine getting the first round 4th and getting the first round game at home. But we'll get back into that too a little bit later. Well, one of the questions too I think I wanted to ask was this guy the Knicks just picked up. This guy Luka.
Yes, he did. That was my question.
Yeah,
I was gonna wait till the show.
Yeah,
because now here's my confusion. So I got to do what I normally do is do people normally just pick up people from overseas at random like that?
No, not. I mean, people do pick up people at the end of the season like that.
But from like overseas, that was like a real. I don't know if that's normal. That's why I said that. Like,
yeah, that's not. That was an opportunity pick. Now, why they picked them at this juncture? They had an open spot. They decided not to go with the big man Simi. So, which is cool. It'd be nice to have another big body too, but that's here nor there with that. But it must have been something that a lot of teams, I think, was interested in this guy. Yeah, so you just had to grab it. Yeah, you had to grab an opportunity.
I said because it almost seems like overseas people get drafted, right? Even if they've been in their league for X amount of years, it's almost like Pablo Prigioni, like he got drafted, right? It's not like they just picked him up.
But that's when I first heard it. Even not, that's the person who I thought of.
Yeah, that's what I thought of too. The first person I thought of was Pablo Prigioni. Like he got drafted, I think. So and he was
traded to us, yeah.
Or traded, he was in his league he was basically a veteran.
Yeah.
Right? Luka Doncic, basically, he's young, but he's basically a veteran.
Yeah, he was a veteran. Yeah, so
there's a couple people. Frank Ntilikina, I think he was 1 year in, so it would have been equivalent to college for Frank. But with him, it's why did y'all pick him? So,
well, when you see his highlight, and I saw the first thing I kept looking at was his highlights, because I said I'm not going to get into first whose time he going to take. But his highlights is as a point guard, He can shoot. He can penetrate. It looks like his bread and butter from all the highlights I seen was that he's excellent in the pick and roll. But it looked like it was pick and roll going down. You can't go by highlights a lot when you look at a whole bunch of them. I'm trying to find what. In every highlight, he had the same thing where he can hit the pick and roll. He can shoot over the top, but he can finish. I didn't see a whole lot of dishing. So, yeah, the Knicks still can use a guy who can get his own shot, so that never hurts.
I mean, at this point, because the way Randall plays, we're bringing the ball down. They kind of just regular swing it. It's not like how they swing it with a purpose. D Rose can score when he feel like it. That's really what we was missing, a point guard that can score.
Well, if you notice, yeah, but if you notice, halfway during the streak, Joe, if you notice, Randall hasn't been bringing up as much. So they've been running more sets for Randall during the streak.
Well, the past 2 games he has.
I mean
that's why the flow been looking a little off.
He's been doing it for a few games now. He hasn't been bringing it up as much. So I think now that people are getting more comfortable in their role, he's giving the ball to the guards, even though it's coming back to him on a swing.
But yeah, I'm just lost,
well,
because D Rose, let's be honest, he plays starter minutes. Now he comes off the bench,
he's going to continue to play.
Yeah, he's out there way more than Alfred. So now, are they not satisfied with Alfred Payton's play? That's why they picked him up. It could just be for safety. You're probably looking too deep into it.
No, I think it's just opportunity. I think it's opportunity.
Ntilikina, right? He's not playing terrible when he get his minutes.
Yeah,
he's still playing good defense.
Yeah,
he got the 2 dudes from the D, the D League.
And then it come down to experience, because you don't know how much experience this guy has overseas. And when it gets to the playoffs, Tibbs are going to lean on his veterans. That's just what he's going to do. So there's a lot of reasons why they probably picked up this guy. The good side is that the guy, he's not an upside player. He looks like he's already a player. So if he gets in the game, he comes in the game with a skill. So it's not like like even with Prigioni, he was a floor general to a degree, but he helped us. But it wasn't like you could have did without him. Yeah, So he was a ball hawk on defense, is what kind of helped with Prigioni too.
Prigioni, I think he was one of the players that really just did not hurt us.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah, he played good. He didn't really make no mistakes. When he made a mistake, you seen it on his face.
Yeah,
that it was his fault. He was one of those players. I like Prigioni. He made a lot of clutch plays.
Yeah, Prigioni wasn't bad. I'm just saying, this guy seemed like a way better player.
Prigioni, if he wasn't so small looking, it looked like he could have just started. I know he started a couple times.
He started a lot.
But he looked like he could have just stayed as a starter, really. He looked like a consistent point guard that, if you got him,
remember, we was mixing and matching so much back then, that wasn't even funny. All right, so we're going to get to the, well, anyway, I think the guy, it's good to bring in a guy that he's got some kind of a skill. Rather he plays or not, if he gets in the game, which everybody will get an opportunity because of foul trouble. And then the way they playing defense too, Tibbs will probably have to play more people because you're going to be more fatigued in the playoffs when the intensity goes up. All right, but let's get to this because I think this was something I waited for. Okay, it started with Jalen Rose. Now other people are starting to talk about it, but Jalen Rose was the first one I was here saying about the Knicks are the most important team in New York, and the Nets are the most important team around the world. So, that now the conversation is the Nets winning the championship, is that less important than the Knicks, making playoffs? So just the whole theory of how people try to compare the Knicks and the Nets and who want to go where, this proves to everybody that no matter what the Nets do, this is a New York Knicks basketball town.
Yeah, then I'm going to make this clear, and I'm not even hating. We only like the Nets right now because KD is on the team. Point blank, period. That's it. If KD, Kyrie, and all them leave, people can care less about the Nets. I'm sorry. That's it. If the Knicks next year add to their team and they can potentially beat the Nets, nobody's going to care about the Nets. That's it. The only reason why the NBA season is exciting right now is because the Knicks are in the playoffs. That's it. Or in the playoff race. Because nobody's talking about the Nets.
They're not.
They're because of the injuries, but everything is about the Knicks.
Yeah, it was interesting for for them to put that whole dynamic together, and then to add Blake and who was that retired, Aldridge. I mean, that dynamic made for intrigue TV, but again, they all don't even get to play together because of injuries. But and Jalen Rose was saying it, so that means we already knew. Like I didn't like when LeBron chimed in about the Knicks being better, the NBA being better when the Knicks. Yeah, that's been said for 50 million years. But like, don't y'all say it? Like, y'all had opportunities to come here. So now people can see that it don't take a superstar to win in New York. What it took was discipline. We kind of had that the year with Melo and them when you brought in those other veterans, so that now all Melo had to do was score. Jason Kidd set the tone for moving the ball around, and then Rasheed Wallace and Marcus Camby and them guys, the veterans, came in and they did their job playing around Melo. So I think we could have went further in that year. I don't know. I still don't know why we didn't. But in this type of situation, the superstars that now might even be considering, coming here, now you come in here, they don't need you in that sense now.
Well, yeah, but it was like everybody always says, we get these players when they're at the end of their career or they're injury prone. And same thing with the Nets, right? They still are the favorites to win a championship. But look at the injuries, right? A lot of veteran players that's getting injured, foot injuries. But now they young stars or the young players and their bench players got to step up and play. So you got a team. I think what the Knicks messed up over the years is what we blame the office for. You just hiring people off their name. And yeah, they good starters, but then by the time the end of the season, they're all beat up. Because we in the NBA, it's not like they're not playing hard every night, and they not playing them hard.
But we also wasn't building around.
I think I mentioned Baron Davis the last show. Think about with him. I remember the game he got hurt, messed up his knee.
Yeah, but
after that it went downhill. Like,
yeah, but we wasn't doing that. Yeah, we wasn't doing that great with Baron Davis.
I'm talking about we wasn't doing that great. But
right, we were playing ball, and we had other good guys too besides Baron.
I'm just talking about mentioning him. We made it to the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. We made it to the playoffs.
Well, we was making it to the playoffs up until that point. Up until we wasn't making it. When we got Melo, we made the playoffs every year that we had Melo until we wasn't.
And we get, like, even with Melo, we get to the playoffs, but we're also injured, beat up. J.R. Smith even hurt. Everybody's hurt. That year with Jason Kidd, everybody's hurt. Jason Kidd just missing threes, and then the theory on that. Like, now all of a sudden he can't shoot. But there's always an issue. Now we got players that actually balling. And this is what we said. We don't know if it's because they all played under one system before.
Well, they all hungry. They all hungry. So when you all hungry and you fighting for something, and not even to mention, I think I was telling the other day about Randall. He got $1 million bonus. For making the playoffs, the All-Star team, and other things like that. So he's also has an incentive to play for some other stuff. So we got to see where that take us in the coming year, after he, go beyond here and maybe sign even a more lucrative contract. You got to see now where his mindset's going to be. But nobody can't discredit that in New York, the Knicks is the place to be. Like I don't really hear people go to the Barclays Center more for concerts than they will for a game.
Yeah, I love the Barclays Center. I'm not gonna sit here and act like every time we went, it was not a blast. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like every time we went to the Garden, it's not a movie neither.
The Garden is
like the Garden is just fun. When you walk around, it is fun.
Well, just even the energy walking in and out.
I'm not gonna lie. When you're sitting in them seats, you feel cramped. The only time you have fun is when you go off to the side where the training courts is at, where the bar is at. Yeah. That's the only place you really have fun. The Garden is fun even when you're in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, so that's New York for you. But I do like now that people, and it didn't really take for us to be winning for somebody to say that. But I guess what Jalen probably meant was that it make more sense to say it when the team is winning.
You know what?
But it's always been.
I'm gonna be petty, and guess what? The owner is still the owner. So now, what were we talking about all these years? The owner is still the owner. Yep. No, y'all got players that play hard, and y'all made the cool factor. Even though we disagree, you put the Dipset, you change the jerseys, you got different music. When the team is playing hard, it's easier to make us look cool.
Yeah, I might take that back again about Dipset because I watched it again. First time I watched it, I didn't like it last year. When they first done it, I was like, maybe because I didn't like them.
No, it's because the Knicks.
No, maybe because I didn't like. No, it wasn't. I mean, I'm down with the Knicks if they go 0-82. You know that already. But I think I didn't like Cam. I always liked Jim. You know, I think that's what it was. Man, I think that's really what it.
Cam, my God.
Yeah. So not like him, but you know, when he was having a feud with Jim, you know, I just thought Jim was better at the time. I don't know.
And listen, I know we're talking about the Knicks, but listen, you seen the warm up jersey with the New York City, then they got the Nike check. Those sell out in like 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Now I don't know. Y'all let me know. I'm tired of that jersey with the city that never sleeps.
But they got But that's us though. We the Big Apple. We the city that never sleeps.
Listen, like, why y'all can't? You know what? I'm saying it right now, and I'm about to keep pushing this. We changing the Garden. If we make the playoffs, we calling it the Jungle.
No,
that's what we calling it.
It's the Garden.
And we calling it the Jungle.
It's the Garden Jungle.
We got to be scary when we come up.
The Jungle. Go to.
We the Garden during the regular season. We the Jungle.
Go to Rutgers.
The Rutgers sounds scary.
The world's most famous arena. It's the Garden. Yeah, we ain't letting y'all change that.
Nah, we changing something. Something got to change. We got something more scary. They're not coming up in the Garden, wilding, scoring. Listen, Devin Booker, Chris Paul was driving me crazy.
No, Chris Paul showed his. Oh, see, that's the other thing I was saying too. I'm glad you brought that up. This is another good sign that, okay, Phoenix are playing for something, but Chris Paul and Booker down the stretch, they wanted that game.
Yeah.
Like they said, okay, y'all the Knicks, y'all got this streak going. And I believe it, and to me, I just choose to believe it was more than, because they're in second place, that it was more than their seeding for me. It was to show that, you know, we here too, we still fighting for our respect too. And by us beating the Knicks, we're going to get some of that respect. You know, the Knicks are running through all y'all other teams. But we coming in here to show that we the Phoenix Suns, we number 2 in the West. And we want some respect too. And by beating the Knicks, we're going to get some of that respect. That's what I was taking from it. Because Chris and Devin don't even show that kind of emotion. He was showing some real, you know what I mean? And then even with Paul, he was even showing some extra emotion. Like that game meant more than just their own seeding. You know, it meant like we here and now everybody's watching the Knicks. So now we're going to show that, you know, we're a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And that's the respect that the Knicks have given out around the league.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when they in them rooms and they doing the recaps and who they got to beat, I'm pretty sure now they like, yeah, the Knicks is a playoff contender and we can't sleep or we're going to fall behind.
Because they won't stop coming at you. Now we're gonna switch gears on that because it's basically with the same subject, and this is one of the reasons too why I don't really watch the Bleacher Report. So the Bleacher Report says, and I don't even remember I didn't write his name down, that the Knicks won't fare well in the playoffs, because we lack guys with playoff experience, we lack weaponry, and our shooting percentage is low. I think they said something like, I don't know where they get in what situations they had 20 and 26%, and shooting and efficiency. I don't know what part of the game they took that stat from, because the Knicks are doing way better in a lot of them situations than they had done in the past.
Yeah, whoever looked up that stat, don't play back.
Yeah, because I don't know if they're pulling it from crunch time. I don't know where. Our crunch time stats are pretty good. Because remember, before we were losing the close ones before we turned it around. And the only thing good or bad about when you're losing them close, it'll turn around. And the same thing when you're winning them close. Eventually, that's going to turn around. So, you know, their whole
way this year, so it's not even like.
But we have guys with experience. Like, we don't have our core guys. Okay, Gibson has the most, Gibson and Rose. And a lot of that probably came from the Bulls and their time together with Tibbs in Memphis. So they got the most experience. But Bullock, Burt, and I think it was, who else is it? And Nerlens, they have playoff experience. So other than Randall, who's our other key guy, all of our key guys except Randall have playoff experience. So Derek can help Quigley in the playoffs, right, with his experience. Bullock can help RJ. And then the big guys can help Randall. All Randall got a mindset is don't press. Just do what you've been doing. So I don't get where we're gonna run into that wall when our key guys, the key guys besides Randall, you ain't even got to count RJ and Quigley at this point, and Alfred, because Derrick Rose is gonna finish the game.
Yeah, but numbers don't win the game.
Right. That don't
numbers. Give you estimate on what's probably going to happen. But numbers don't win you the game, the emotion. Like I said, when R.J. Barrett is like tunnel vision and he's mad and you can see that he's just trying to get to the whole enemies necessary. Mm-hmm. When Taj Gibson comes to him and lets him know, like, no, get your head back in the game. Mm-hmm. We're going to do this. When Quickly is trying to get the foul and it doesn't work for the first 2 times and normally he gets it. Mm-hmm. But then when he goes to the whole regular and then he gets the and one in the foul and he feels good again, that's why we're winning the game.
Yeah.
Randall's getting his head on straight and he's thinking and he's passing the ball and swinging it. That's why we winning the game.
Yeah, when you break down reasons why we winning, because I was looking at a few myself, and then when you some of the main reasons that we don't turn the ball over like we used to. Like we could go a whole game and maybe only turn the ball over 4 times. You know, we can go a whole half and not have turned the ball over. See, that's something the Knicks had never done. We always beat ourselves in that way. You know, another thing is our free throw percentage. Yeah, okay, we don't take a lot of free throws. We take more than we did in the past, and we make more than we did in the past. You know, those are just like key elements. And then 2, I was looking at our players have progressed as the year went on, because players know now that it used to be the opportunity to score. You know, now it's like they know now that they have an obligation now to score. Like I have an obligation when I'm open in the corner to hit that corner 3. Or, you know, I have an obligation, you know, to get back, you know, on D, you know, and cover certain things. Now, the thing I think we could get easier buckets is it's just something about our transition that we need to work on from defense to offense. And not just so much on a rebound, but like when somebody gets a steal or deflection. We don't turn the corner real fast to transition from defense to offense and sprint out to get them easy buckets. Because the guy still with the ball is always still ahead of everybody else. It's almost like if you see me get the steal, like if Derek gets it or Peyton, and I 2 dribbles, you should already be sprinting past me. And we still trail behind the person. It's like, don't let them make the decision to have to wait for you. Sprint out, you know, like they did in the 80s. And you have to go back because, you know, everything comes around. The guy with the ball, everybody else got to sprint. You got to sprint out and fight for a lane. That'll get us easier buckets. You know, and even, you know, Randall definitely, he don't do it for sure. But some of the younger guys should be trained to do that.
Well, I know when you say that, I know Robinson was doing it before he was hurt. I know Reggie Bullock do it. That's why he's always getting them.
Well, he runs to the corner, yeah, but they're not getting ahead of the shooter.
Yeah, I'm talking about, but he always getting them cut baskets, and that's why. And Taj Gibson does it when he can.
No, but I'm talking,
everybody else, they kind of just.
They run. The Knicks are smarter now that they run to their spot, which is probably another element why we winning. Guys running to where they know the ball is going to be for them. I'm talking about that transition to get maybe 10, 12 more fast break points. Is we get a whole lot of steals and deflections. So just get ahead of the person, because that's when it's a scramble.
Yeah, I want us to get easier points.
That's how that's how we get them. Like, that's how you get easier baskets.
Come down court,
hang around the basket, and get out in the open court. It don't got to be a fast break to get out in the open court. I'm just get ahead of the ball. You know, if I know somebody's a point guard that's gonna pass, as soon as he get it, I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be going, and that's how all of them will get easier baskets.
And they got to shoot more mid ranges. So I noticed games we shoot a lot of mid ranges. We win a lot of those games because it's right there. They not instead of you looking for the 3, just put up the 2 real quick. That's an easy bucket. That's a free throw.
Well, that leads me to, and we're only talking about this year, but you're talking about the mid range. What would you think about DeMar DeRozan? Because
I want
because he's a mid-range player, and I guess he could learn to shoot 3.
I'm talking about if we could have added somebody like DeMar DeRozan, that would have been good.
Yeah, because you don't know what
the players we was talking about. Like, it was like they're not superstars, but that's the star that you know he gonna do what he do.
Yeah, because either way, the Knicks come back next year. They're coming back. They're coming back pencil in to make the playoffs next year. So now it's a matter of when you make changes. Because I think that we personally, to me, should keep our whole front line. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guys off the bench, you know, Gibson, all of them, keep all of them, you know.
We just got to add somebody to back up for Randall. We got to add.
Well, Obi going to get better. I don't think that's yeah, I think it's at the 3. It's probably going to be changed at the point guard. And then changes probably got to be made at the 3. Because the decision that would have to be made.
Point guard, yeah. I think we just got to get somebody. Because, like, I'm satisfied with Derrick Rose. He's not going to hurt you. He probably don't really want to play all those minutes, but unless you're going to get somebody that's quickly going to step up, unless you're going to get somebody better than Elfrid Payton.
Well, quickly probably still going to come off the bench. We know that already.
Yeah, so Elfrid, as long as they better than Elfrid Payton, we good.
Well, they're going to go that you can get because between the money you'll have, you'll get that, but it's still going to come down to the 3 because the dilemma for me will be, like, Bullock, to me, proves he should be able to stay. Now, does he has to stay at the 3, or could he come back as the 2 and you get a 3? Because his natural position is 2 guard. That's Bullock's now. And now that he has that shooting fire mentality, you know, it wouldn't kill me if Barrett had to come off the bench. Like that's not a deal breaker for me. Because he's still going to get your time, he's still going to get your minutes. You know, and that's not even taking nothing away from him. But you're talking about putting the best product on the floor, you know, come next year. Because where are you going to add a player of significance? You know, but you got to bring in something. You got to bring in because your kids can't keep going in as the underdog.
Yeah, the 3 to 1. If you get all the centers is really taken. I think we got some of the best.
It'd be nice to have a low post player, but just that you want Robinson back. Hope they don't try to be stupid and try to fool around with Robinson just because Nerlens is playing well. You know, Robinson is 7'1" and going to get bigger and going to get better. And I was even thinking about this. Like, I know you can't go by the summer highlights that we see Robinson doing, but you think about the Joker, right? And you think about the ability that Robinson has, especially while he's still young, and you give him the opportunity to do some of those things, you might have a Joker kind of guy on your hand. You know, a guy that can hit the 3, hit the fallback, fallback jumper in the lane when you're trying to get in and just step back and shoot it. You know, Robinson probably has all those skills if you just give him a chance to use them. You know, you probably got the Joker. We probably have our low post player. We just don't let him go and don't work with him on that to that degree. So, you know, the Knicks are looking good.
Now I'm thinking, because our center rotation is good, right? We got 3, right? All 3 of them play maybe.
And you bring back Pill.
So, right, and then our point guards, all 3 of them play majority of the time.
All 3 won't play if Robinson is there.
Well, no. So what I'm saying is the rotation will probably be a little bit better. You can probably give people more of a break if maybe there was somebody after Randall other than Obi. Because what happened with Obi just is not ready next year.
No, but that's the beauty of keeping all our big guys. If he's not ready to that degree, you can still slide Gibson to his natural position to come in the game. Like Gibson naturally is a power forward. He still can play power forward. So you can slide him in that situation. And he can still hit pick and pops and things like that. So you're not. It'd be nice to get a guy you just can dump it into.
You know what? That's probably why he's killing these centers.
Well, he's a power. He's played center in spells anyway. But he's a power forward. So he can still play some power forward alongside of a center. You know, he did that kind of last year a little bit. But with the Knicks, they're all right there. You just have to get more consistent. A more consistent scoring threat, not just consistent scoring, but the person has to be a threat because threat demands double and triple teams. You know, the 2 guys are going to be guarding you, and then the other 2 guys' eyes are going to be on you. You know, that's the difference. That's where the other guys get easier shots because now I can backdoor because you're watching him. I can go backdoor. You know, and then I wanted to discuss this thing that. I ain't feeling the nickname, and it's not even no shade to RJ because I love the way RJ is progressing. You know, I love that pit bull mentality, but to give him the nickname Broadway Barrett, I'm not there yet.
Broadway
Just like
Barrett?
they starting to try to call him Broadway Barrett by the way he's been playing. You know, like Broadway Joe, and you know Joe Namath, the old Jets quarterback. You know, things like that. But to me, he ain't there yet. Just like Randall, as much as he's doing, he's not there yet to wear the crown of the King of New York.
Yeah, no.
You know, you got to do way more than what Bernard did to wear that crown. So even though guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
The messed up part is to be the king of New York, you're going to have to outplay Durant. So, at this point, like it's hard, but to be the king of New York, you're going to have to be toe-to-toe with Durant.
Well, how about the article that was suggesting that Kyrie and Durant either regret or gonna regret not choosing the Knicks?
Yeah, they probably regret it right now.
Yeah, but imagine how big they would be right now. Imagine how big they would be if they was doing this on the Knicks.
I just seen the interview with Durant. What's that show? $1 Million Worth of Game. And he said he wanted to go to a team with a group of guys that want to win and want to play hard. That's what the Knicks had. That's why we was looking for you.
Yeah.
So you went to the Nets. The Nets, yeah, they was more solidified than the Knicks, but
yeah, but they don't
let all those guys go.
But they say that. They say they went to the Nets because of what the front office was doing. They say they went to the Nets. The first thing they did after that year when y'all got there, y'all didn't get along with the coach. Y'all got the coach fired. Y'all started trading off to other people. So all that front office stuff y'all was talking about, half of them gone.
I got there for those players.
Coaches in the front, it's gone. So all that, the Knicks was more established organization. That was all BS. Because as soon as y'all got there, y'all got them fired. So all that's BS. So y'all just felt like whatever was Kyrie was in their feelings about, and he convinced you, and then DeAndre started badmouthing the Knicks because he couldn't get the starting job, over Mitch. And then you went there, you couldn't get it over Allen. So all that little stuff
and now that I'm thinking about it too, with Kyrie and Durant, we probably would have had the same team if they would have came. If we would have drafted everybody the same, we would have had the same team. We'd have still had.
Well, we might have drafted different though if they came. We might have drafted. Who's to say we would have took Obi in that situation? I mean, things we would have. We would have probably done different. We wouldn't have took Nerlens because we would have had. Mitch, and then who's the DeAndre Jordan? So we probably wouldn't have
took DeAndre Jordan left before they even knew they was getting.
No. He left that summer.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, I'm saying, but he only left for that reason. Those are the reasons why he left.
I ain't want him anyway. He ain't do nothing.
I'm just saying, like that camaraderie.
He ain't doing that.
Yeah, he was really only there to help lure all those things that the Knicks had did. They hired an assistant coach of the Rams. They hired.
Jordan.
Yeah, so they did all that, but again,
all you do is catch alley-oops. You don't do nothing.
Well, we doing good either way. So, all right, people. So just remember, please, to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. And Joe, you want to add?
Oh, just like twice if you can. Get us in the algorithm so all the Knicks fans can see this.
All right, everybody. Have a happy Friday. Peace.
Peace.